Well, think about this. When you talk about, me getting involved in boxing this whole time, my first boxing match ever is going to be a once-in-a-lifetime fight. You got undefeated Crawford, 31 knockouts, the undisputed welterweight champ, taking on Canelo Alvarez, 4 titles in 4 different weight classes, 39 knockouts, the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world at Allegiant Stadium, 65,000 seats. The problem is I don't know where I go from here.
Canelo Alvarez will defend his undisputed super middleweight title against undefeated Terence Crawford on September 13th at the gigantic 65,000-seated Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. This is far beyond just a fight. This is a real war between 2 of the most skilled, dominant, and dangerous fighters of this era.
Today, September 12th, in Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas, Nevada, USA.
Canelo is boxing's face and a known gladiator, and is now standing in the way of Crawford, who is a technical genius that has already cleared 3 weight classes and now is attempting to make history in doing so for a 4th time. The venue is set under the glitzy Vegas lights, and the stadium will be bouncing with energy. For the first time in boxing history, an event like this will stream on the global version of Netflix. No pay-per-view, no excuses. Only 2 legends, 1 ring, and everything on the line. The buzz hasn't kicked in yet because the fight is still a few months away, but the anticipation is steadily increasing. This is not just another blockbuster fight, it is a massive risk for Canelo. However, currently, people are speculating whether he has enough fire and sharpness left to handle an elite boxer like Crawford, whose record stands at and is moving up 2 full weight classes. For Canelo, there isn't too much to gain in his legacy. He isn't defending against a natural 168-pound fighter. What about Crawford? Everything is on the line and all to gain. After a year away from the ring, he is jumping up 14 pounds and stepping into unknown territory altogether. If he shocks the world and beats Canelo at super middleweight, it would be a career-defining moment. He is training widely hard to become the #1 fighter. Meanwhile, American former professional boxer Ray Leonard accepts that there is valid concern about Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez's differences in weight. Canelo is just bigger, with added strength and power, but Leonard believes, while size is a factor, it doesn't always determine a fight. He had moved up and fought bigger fighters, and while they had size on him, he trusted his speed, skill, and intelligence throughout the fight.
What about Crawford do you think can bridge the weight gap, or like with you, what did bridge the weight gap? Because a lot of people are just saying, hey, Canelo's just too big for someone like Terence.
I mean, that's true, but you know what? There's always a way. Put it that there's always a way. There's always a way to win.
Crawford has the right game plan, quickness, boxing IQ, and mental toughness to help mitigate Canelo's size advantage. He agrees with Leonard that with a good plan, along with the will to believe, there's always a way a good fighter like Crawford can overcome the weight difference and fight at a high level. And what if Canelo loses? It could be a mark against his legacy that would last forever, beaten, not by a bigger man, but by a smaller man who dared to challenge the king. The stakes were impossibly high. On the opposite side, Benavidez Sr. believes Terence Crawford is going to have a difficult time jumping up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo Alvarez. Benavidez Sr. believes Crawford is too small to exchange power with a much bigger and stronger Canelo. He believes Crawford will try to survive in the fight, running around the ring and winning rounds with strategy rather than firepower.
Crawford's a little guy, you know. He's coming up 2 divisions to fight Canelo Alvarez, and you think he's going to go toe-to-toe with Canelo? Come on, man. You know, Terence Crawford's a great fighter, really good fighter, but that's too much weight for him. So he's going to try to survive and move around and try to win the round. That's what's going to happen. I think Canelo at this stage right now, his legs are not the same. You know, the body's not responding the same. So I think he's going to have problems trying to catch Terence Crawford, to be honest.
Adding on, Benavidez Sr. also said that while Canelo has gotten slower in the legs and body, making it harder to catch a faster Crawford, the fight will still be slow. Canelo has had some of the lowest pay-per-view punch outputs in history. Benavidez Sr. warns Crawford of the size disadvantage and predicts a boring tactical fight instead of an entertaining fight.
I think it's going to be the same fight. You know, I think it's going to be a boring fight. It's going to. I'm hoping that, you know, it's a little bit exciting because I heard that Canelo was the worst fight ever on pay-per-view to throw the less punches in history. So we're hoping to see a great fight, a good fight, but that matchup is not a matchup to be excited.
However, Turki Alalshik, who has been the driving promoter for this historic event, insists that the main event alone is sufficient and has openly called it the biggest fight in boxing. Fans, however, aren't having it. Canelo versus Crawford certainly has star power and is monumental in context, but many fans don't feel like the earth-shaking war they had hoped for Turki plans to fill the undercard with eager fighters, many of whom are not well known to casual or even hardcore boxing fans. Another former professional boxer, Shane Mosley, warns Crawford on the biggest problem with Canelo. He said Canelo's a monster, far bigger and stronger than Crawford. If Crawford was the slick, elusive type who danced around the ring all night, he would have a chance. But the thing is, Crawford is not that guy. He's a fighter. He has that warrior's heart that wants to stand and bang, not just run around in circles.
Shane, what do you think about Canelo and Crawford?
I think Canelo's too big for Crawford. I think Canelo's too big for Crawford. I think that the reason why, if Crawford was a mover like the rest of the fight, then maybe he can have a good chance with Canelo. But I think that being that Crawford is a fighter, that's gonna be dangerous. That's gonna be his problem. He's a fighter. He wants to fight. He can move a little bit, but his heart is not in moving. So he's gonna have to sit there and fight with Canelo. If you sit there and fight with Canelo, and he's that much bigger than you, then.
And that's the problem. If Crawford goes into a trade punches with Canelo, it is like the most dangerous thing because Canelo can hit and he is bigger and stronger. Everyone talks about Crawford's skill, and sure, he is an awesome boxer. No question about it, he has been solid too. But against a bigger, meaner Canelo, this is a different beast, as horrible as that may sound. Crawford's gotta have a different game plan, or this could be real ugly real quick. Crawford has a different game plan, or this could be real ugly real quick. 168 pounds, how many new tricks will Canelo come with since these two fought last? He is not just the kid in a middleweight fight, he has been in the thick of it with everyone from the big-time pummeling heavyweights to everyone. The experience factor is through the roof. Plus, the guy is not just a beast in the ring, he is a solid guy out of the ring. When you combine the two, it makes him one of the toughest fighters to beat.
But everybody thinks, you know, Crawford, he's a great boxer, he's this, he's that, which he is. He's a great fighter. And I think he's a great fighter at 140, 47, and he seems just to be, you know, good at 54. Now we're going to 68.
How many more tricks has Canelo learned since you last fought him?
Like
I mean, he's a veteran now. Why? He's been in the ring with everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like from light heavyweight all the way down to 54.
American TV personality Stephen A. Smith didn't hold back on Crawford moving up to fight Canelo. He called it a massive mistake. He compared it to that iconic Rocky II moment when Apollo Creed was getting absolutely beaten, and his trainer had to tell him straight up, "Let it go, man, you're outmatched." Stephen A. says Crawford is basically Apollo in this fight, too small, out of his depth, and heading for trouble if he doesn't face reality.
Let me tell you what I think should be going. The notion that Terence Bud Crawford should move up 3 weight classes, 21 pounds, to fight Canelo Alvarez. He's entirely too small. Jamel Charlo already proved that. Y'all remember that scene from Rocky? Remember that scene from Rocky 2? When Carl Weathers was Apollo Creed and his trainer was like, "Can I be honest? I saw you beat this man within an inch of his life." And he kept coming.
Crawford risks getting brutally exposed stepping into the ring with a bigger, stronger Canelo. According to Stephen A., Crawford needs to wake up and stop chasing a fight that could end his legacy.
Go away. He's wrong for us, baby. He's wrong. Let it go. Apollo couldn't do it and lost fight number 2. Trained him for fight Rocky 3 and then got killed in Rocky 4 by Drago because he couldn't let it go. Bud Crawford needs to let it go. Too small.
Oscar De La Hoya isn't holding anything back for the upcoming Canelo vs. Crawford fight. He boldly states that Canelo will run him out of the ring, no refunds, no questions asked. To legitimate fighters and boxing purists, the idea of Crawford jumping 2 whole weight classes to fight a natural light heavyweight like Canelo is almost delusional. In addition to being bigger, Canelo is a beastful fighter with a level of skill and experience, along with an inhuman knockout streak that few worldwide can boast of.
Now, what the media is reporting, and it's circulating, is that Canelo Crawford is the biggest fight of the decade. I mean, to a purist and a fighter, it's laughable. Because you have Crawford jumping up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo, who's a natural light heavyweight. Crawford, who couldn't push back Madrimov. Life and death with Madrimov. What do you think Canelo's gonna do to him? Run him out of the ring.
Let's not forget how Crawford nearly got caught losing to Madrimov. That wasn't a dominant performance. It was a fight to survive. De La Hoya is more than clear. This is not going to be a close fight. This is going to be a painful beating, as Canelo's size, strength, and brute physicality are going to crush Crawford's chances. This fight is going to be a vivid reminder that heart and muscle are sometimes greater than skill in the boxing ring. Mexican great Marco Antonio Barrera has shared his thoughts on the upcoming battle between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. It was confirmed last week that the pound-for-pound stars will lock horns on Saturday, September 13th. Canelo will be defending his undisputed title at 168 pounds after he picked the title back on May 2nd when he outpointed former IBF champion William Skull in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Bud Crawford is moving up 2 whole weight classes to challenge the Mexican superstar, having spent most of his glittering career making a living at welterweight before making his 154-pound debut last August when he dethroned WBA champion Israel Madrimov. In an interview, Barrera shared his thoughts on the weight difference between Canelo and Crawford that many believe will be huge against Bud on fight night. He added, "I don't know about the weight difference. We saw Crawford fight Israel Madrimov at 154, I believe. He did not look like he used to, so he had to jump all those weight classes to fight Canelo. It's going to be hard, but I'll watch it. I'll tune in." Barrera was then asked if he thinks Canelo will get a stoppage victory over Crawford, taking the size advantage into consideration. Barrera replied, "I don't know if he'll knock him out. We know Crawford has a good chin, but I do know that Canelo will most likely come out of this victorious." Victory for Bud would see the 37-year-old from Omaha capture an undisputed championship in a 3rd division, becoming the first fighter in boxing history to accomplish this feat. The clock is ticking. Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford, 2 of boxing's biggest names, are finally going to step into the ring together for what could be an epic showdown. This matchup is sure to have drama, tactics, and everything boxing fans want. Regardless of what happens in the matchup, we can all agree that it's a moment boxing fans won't want to miss. Boxing fans are eager to watch this fight as the fight of the year quickly approaches. What do you think Crawford can overcome the size difference and shock the world, or will Canelo prove why he's the king? Drop your predictions in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss the latest boxing updates. Thanks for watching.